guys, welcome back to Vinceville Custom. So today I'm sharing with you a finished Thor Garage Kit that I just finished painting up. I think this was definitely sculpted by Sheridan Deuce, but I forgot who produced it. Maybe somebody in the comments can let me know. I'm not really sure. I did do a Garage Kit review on this a while back, but I pretty much forgot. I probably should have looked it up, but I just got done putting him all together and kind of getting ready for this video, and he is a beast. Now, I thought this project was going to go through pretty fast, but I was really mistaken because of the cape. I'll kind of explain how this all worked out. Got to be careful how I turn him. You can see this cape is massive. It's a very, very weird pose and design. It's a good sculpt. You know, it's got. I think it's based off of comic book art or cover, if I'm not mistaken. But it's definitely big. I mean, I'm pretty far from it from the camera and everything and here and stuff. But I think when I go to take regular pictures of it with the other camera, it's going to be a nightmare to move them. So I'm gonna have to just keep them on the turntable. So let's see. Where do we start? So let's work on the figure. So this, if I'm not mistaken, I think if I remember correctly, this was one solid piece, and I had to attach the feet part to him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Unless these were separate, I can't remember. Maybe they were. Yeah, I think they were separate. I don't remember. Okay. Anyway, the way they set him up, and this was a problem with the design flaw from the factory. There was a rod in his foot here, and there was a rod in his foot here, but the rod didn't go all the way up the leg. The rod was only like 1/4 of an inch inside the resin, and it wasn't really metal. It was like a really soft plastic. So when I got the legs attached correctly, those rods didn't even line up to the holes that were on the base. But when I did sort of like kind of line up the holes to the base with the legs were like pulling apart, and they never would have glued in correctly. So I knew right away I had to take those rods out and do other stuff, because also there was no way a rod this big with only like 1/4 of an inch into the resin was going to hold up this whole statue. There's no way. I know that thing was going to crack or break or something was going to happen. So what I did was I dremeled out that rod, and I dremeled up a hole through this foot. And then what I did is I dremeled up a hole up to there, but not through the muscle, of course, just up enough. So when I glued this leg together after I got this one on, see, now I remember, I think these were definitely attached. What I did is I put a metal rod all the way up his leg, right? So now there is a rod, a square keystock rod going all the way down here to the base to support him, because I knew I needed more support. But I ran into the next issue, and the next issue was this foot here. It's a very, very weird placement. So I knew right away there was no way I was going to put a rod all the way up this leg and bend it correctly where this piece would go in like perfect to straight. So I decided the best course of action was to, from his back of his foot through his ankle, I dremeled a hole up here, and I put a nice, real strong metal rod in here, because I wanted to make sure his ankle had support. Because even if this had a rod in his foot, I still worry about this ankle, because I mean, if you look at him, right? And this is always, like, I always want to tell people, if you guys are going to design a statue, or going to make a one-of-a-kind, or you're going to hire a sculptor, think of your support. Because this cape, this body, with this ankle and this way the way this foot is here, how is it going to support it, you know? So I went above and beyond with this one, because I said, I want to do this right. I want to make sure it's secured. So that's what I did. So what I came up with is I put a magnet in his foot here, and I put 2 strong magnets in the rock. So it's N52 magnets. It's really, really strong. So the way he puts in, it's actually so strong that when you put him in, before you put all the other elements on him, you have to sort of hold his foot up here a bit and sort of slide this rod in first, and then you let it click into place, because what happens is it's such strong magnets now that it wants to lock in real quick, and then you don't line this foot up. So it's a little bit of a play, but once you get in there, he locks in and he's on. He's on the base, and there's nothing he's not getting out there. So that's what I came up with that. So like I said, now that I remember, I did have to seam up here. These were separate. So I put rods up in here as well. So there's rods going into the body, and he's pretty much locked in. So that was the first part of the statue. The second part is the cape. Everything else is fine. I put magnets in the arms. I put magnets in the hands. There's magnets in the head. You know, he's good. But the cape, oh man, the cape really pushed my limits, right? So, if you watch my video, let's try to get this off of here. What you do is got to kind of pop this off without scratching anything. So, you can see it's a little bit messy. So, if you look at the way this cape is designed, and I have to say this is a bad design. And it happens with capes like this and also even like Magneto's. Everybody sort of, or whether it's the sculptor or the factory, what happens is they cut the cape and they put 2 pegs in there, and people think that a cape is going to stay onto a statue with these 2 pegs. So, I don't know if it was my kit or if this is a common problem with this kit. When I put the cape on him, with, you know, just kind of testing him after I primed him up and I got the body together, I put the pegs into his shoulder and I put the cape on, and I started hearing, like, not cracking, but a little bit of a wheezing. And I was like, what the hell? And what I realized is this cape is supposed to come up at really a higher angle almost, but there was no way in hell it was going to stay. Now, I don't know if they designed it where this back of the cape was supposed to lock onto this arm, but when I put the arm on him and I put the cape, nothing lined up. So I think what happened with this one, and I didn't even want to mess with it with like blow dryer, because I think this was printed by Ownage, and they have a habit of their resin sort of kind of warps, like the heavy capes warp over time. I think this was Ownage. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was somebody else, but it kind of felt like an Ownage kit. I think this cape actually warped together. I think something happened here, and it just wasn't working. No matter what I did, it just wasn't going to fit on him. So I said, screw it. I told the client, I've done work for him plenty of times. I said, look, man, this cape is never going to like lay on this statue correctly for long term. I don't know what happened, whether it was warping and casting, warping over time. It wasn't lining up. So he told me, do whatever you got to do. He said, just get it to work and make it look good. So I said, all right. So if you look at my pictures at the beginning of the video, what I decided to do, and I've done this with Magneto capes too, I bent a square piece rod and I put it up here, and I did another one there. So now there's rods that go in here, and it's kind of an L shape, and it holds the cape onto his body, right? Then I decided that maybe at least the bottom part of the cape will stay onto the base. At first I thought I was going to have to sculpt like rocks on the base, you know, over here. But when I lined everything up, it lined great. But I ran into another problem. Because of the warpage and the way the cape was not lining up, because I had to rebuild all this stuff over here, it was hitting the arm. So what I had to do was I had to sort of chop out the bottom of this piece and kind of chop it out and re-sculpt it so it goes around the hand. Yeah, it really threw me for a loop. And I have to say, whenever I run into capes like this, I always just curse under my breath in the garage while I'm working on it. I don't want it to beat me. I'm like, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get it right. But it just takes more work than expected. But I want to do it correctly. You know, I want to make sure that the piece is going to last over time. Because you can see the way this is a design. If you're just painting this up and you don't do correct pegs and stuff, you might come to your studio one day or in your display case, and he might be bent over. It might be broken at the cape. The arm, so I don't know. So I just went ahead and I made sure that there's metal rods in here. I made sure that this is touching. So at least some of this weight is not completely supported on the body. So that's what I came up with. Sometimes, like I always tell people, you got to do some custom work on these kits. Even though, you know, the factory or the sculptors or whoever's producing the kit, if they think that, oh, this is going to be fine, it's not going to be a big deal, they don't factor in all the extra stuff. You know, the kit, the weight, the resin, how it's designed. You got to kind of think about all that stuff. So that's what I came up with. I was going to film me bitching in the garage about the cape, but decided not to. I I think going forward from now on, this is like the third time this has happened to me. I decided that if anyone that wants me to paint up a statue and they have a two-prong kit like that, I'm going to let them know that either we do it right or I paint it up and you deal with the consequences. It's either or, because factories or designs or even, you know what it is? I don't think you could blame the factory as much as the producer. If you're an art director or you're a producer, you should learn to get these capes done correctly. What I think they should have designed is they should have had the cape going around in the neck and has the neck goes into the torso, because you really don't even see the neckline here. So you might as well have designed it where like everything connects into the body. Like think of Magneto. You know how Magneto has that little metal cage around, bracket around his cape? That should always be connected to the cape and it should go into the body. Never these two prongs holding up a cape, because they always break, they always warp, there's always issues. Unless the factory is good enough to actually put a rod in there and cast the item up in there and it goes in correctly, but most factories don't do that. Alright, so that's my little bitch fest on the statue. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. But other than that, we'll kind of go over everything else. So once I got the cape done, I started painting him up. So he's basically straightforward, yellow here. So I kind of did like a little bit of an orangey raw sienna in here with the yellow. Then I painted up the black. At first I painted a really dark blue. He wanted more of a light blue, so I went back in and did a lighter blue. Black here. Black has, it might be hard to see in the camera, but it does have like a 80% gray on there for highlights, but not that much. These metal pieces here, I wanted to change up all the metal on him. So this is kind of like, I think it's Mecha dark steel with a little bit of light steel. Because I didn't want everything to be chromed out. I gave his helmet a chrome, alclad chrome, and then what I did for the hammer is I gave it a AK Interactive steel. So you can see this is a steel with some black washes on it, just to kind of give it, I wanted everything to give a different look. I didn't want all the metals to be the same. I'm not really a fan of trying to make everything look exactly the same thing, because if the hammer was chromed, the helmet was chromed, and then those pieces were chromed, it would just look a little weird. So I did 3 different metals. The feathers in his hair, just kind of like a base color of some, I forgot what I did, some like reddish, brownish stuff, and then I did some highlights of white on there. His yellow hair is kind of not pure yellow, but not like blonde platinum. It's got like some darks in there, but just kind of like a dirty blonde type of hair. Skin tones, mix up some different types of skin tones in his arms and his face, just to give him some comic book look there. As far as his face goes, I put Archer No, I didn't use the Archer decals, I think. I forgot what decals I used. I think I used Evolution X on these. I can't remember. Yeah, I think they're the Evolution XI decals, which are pretty cool. Now, on his cape, I told the guy, I said, look, why don't we make a dirty cape? Because it's a very bulky cape. There's a lot of handling. And trying to make a perfectly clean cape for me, because it's arched. So when you put this in if you were to put this in your airbrush booth or any kind of booth and you don't have a good airflow, sometimes what happens is you get a lot of paint kind of gets caught in the curve, and then it starts to get very rough and sandpapery. So what I did is I used Spaztec Red on the whole cape, and then I went in there with some dry brush and some sponge work, and I did a lot of dirty sponge work around the bottom of the cape and around some other areas, and I did some highlights. So it may have a little bit of sheen to it, but I dulled it down as best I could. That's probably the lights just blaring on it until I figure out my lighting situation. So that's kind of what I did with the cape. And then as far as the base goes, what he wanted to do is he wanted to have a like he's on Doom's mountain, I guess, or Castle Doom. So he showed me some pictures of like lava rock. So I said, all right, why don't we do it like the bottom of the stuff is kind of like the lava rock and it's hot, but maybe it's sticking out of lava or something, and then the top of it's kind of cooler. So that's what we did. So this is kind of like sort of cracking up, and it's got a lot of like Spaztec clear red on it, but then it blends up into like the regular rock paint that I did. So you might be able to see a little bit better over here too. So you can see it's like all reddish and hot, and then as it comes up here it's cooler, and it's kind of like cracking, like he's in the middle of a fight. So that's kind of what we came up with. So other than that, that's it. I mean, it's a really good kit. It's just an engineering issue. If this was a smaller kit, like if it was more of a, I would say a 1/6 scale, I don't think it would be an issue with the cape. And 1/4 probably, I mean, yeah, I guess this is this 1/4? No, I think this is kind of more of a 1/3. I don't think it's 1/4. Or it might be like that 1/3 and a half or something. I'm not really sure. I don't know, maybe you guys could tell me in the comments if there's a specific scale on this one. It just feels a lot bigger than 1/4, so I think that's why the cape threw me for a loop. But yeah, that's Thor, sculpted by Sheridan Deuce. I don't know what else to say more about it other than it's a very, very tricky kit. But if you guys have it and you worked on it, let me know if you had any problems with the cape or pegs in his feet and if they're okay. Or if you have it and you haven't worked on it yet and you don't know if you're going to be able to do it, because this one definitely gave me an issue. But all in all, I think we're good now. It's supported. The cape's supported. He's put together a lot of strong magnets. So I don't think he's going anywhere for a long time. So there you go. That is the Thor kit sculpted by Sheridan Deuce. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more videos.